Yo, what's good? This is Gary A. Swaby, and you're now listening to the Powercast episode 8. And we're going to be recapping season 3, episode 8. The episode was called Trust Me. I'm here with Richard Bailey. What's up, Rich?
What's up, Gary?
Doing good. And we also have a guest this week, Mr. Anthony Frazier. What's up, Ant?
It's good, man. It's good to be, hanging out with you guys, talking about power. Shout out to all the listeners out there.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Anthony was one of the co-founders of the Coalition. So, he's a lot of the reason why we're even here today talking about power. So
Oh
give
man,
it up
don't
to this man.
oh, man. Oh, man. No, we just talking about power today, man. But since we promoting, I got a book out called "Don't Dumb Down Your Greatness" in stores right now. All about entrepreneurship and the kind of mind state it takes to be an entrepreneur and grind and get to the top. And it's funny, we about to talk about Ghost and a lot of what he does. It's funny he has like a lot of those, except for the bad things. I feel like Ghost has a lot of great mental strength that it takes to be successful, man. So it's interesting stuff.
I think Ghost actually read your book, to be honest. So, but
Maybe, maybe, yeah. Shout out to the cast. Shout out to the writers of the show, man. Power has gotten better season by season on the writing, and the proof is in the pudding that we're even here discussing this. It's no different from like Game of Thrones and all the other really dope shows that have podcasts and YouTube videos dedicated to them. And so the fact that Power actually has that type of fanfare just proves that the writing and the show and the characters and the actors are doing a great job. So definitely kudos to them.
indeed, indeed. So, for the people who might be listening to this, a while after the episode aired, I'm going to give a quick recap on some of the things that went down during the episode, and then we're going to jump straight into our discussion and, basically just say what we felt about the episode. So I'll try to get through this as quick as possible. So at the top of the episode, we see Sandoval meeting with Hugo about Lobos, and Sandoval wants to cut off all communication with Hugo, but Hugo threatens Sandoval and his family if he doesn't get a jet out of the country or whatever. And then we see Jamie's asking Tommy for help locating Lobos's inside man. So he actually wants information on Hugo and who Hugo's communicating with. Later, we see Jamie's at the club and he steals some cigarettes that's called Drina. So he's basically trying to investigate where those cigarettes come from to see if he can get a lead to, where Milan's base is, pretty much. Then we see Tommy and Jamie get the drop on Hugo. They're interrogating him, but he kind of intimidates Tommy a little bit, gets inside of his head. He brings up Holly, and Tommy guns him down, kills him. Jamie's obviously angry because they didn't get to find out who the other guy that Hugo was communicating with, because he's doing this whole thing to protect Angela, basically. But he does take Hugo's phone, so he's got that at least. And then the investigator that's trying to figure out, the link with Lobos uh, actually visits Jamie at his office later on, and Jamie is obviously denying that he even knows who Lobos is. So he handles that one very well. Angela visits Tasha to ask about Tommy's alibi and where Tommy was at the time of, Lobos's rescue and murder. And Tasha tells her that he was at his mum's place in Long Island, and she immediately texts Tommy after to let him know. While that's going on, Tommy's shown some of Milan's new products, which includes oxys and high-end pills and stuff. And Tommy actually gives them some advice on how to move the product and suggests that they use couriers. Angela shows up at Tommy's mum's place and questions her. Tommy then later shows up and intimidates Angela, basically. Kanan shows up when Dre is playing ball with Tariq, and Kanan actually builds a bond with Tariq, which comes into play later on. Then a meeting is held at Club Truth with all of the drug bosses, including Ruiz, who's back in the fold now. Tommy instructs them all how to move the pills and orders them to buy their first shipment that same day, pretty much. The Korean protests, and he accuses Tommy of having his son killed. And then one of the Serbs actually kills the Korean to, basically to set an example that they don't want resistance. And then after the meeting, Jamie confronts Tommy about, what's going on and everything. And the two come to a mutual understanding to just follow through with, whatever Milan's trying to do just to keep up their own appearances and stuff and act like they're obedient. Later we see, I'm going to skip a couple of these notes. So later we see Tasha leaves a voicemail for Tommy after finding Jamie drunk on the couch, and she actually tells him that Ghost is planning something. And meanwhile, while that's happening, Milan is manipulating Tommy to get him to break his loyalty with Ghost. And then Jamie's going to see Ruiz, and he basically lets on that he knows that Ruiz has been in touch with the task force, and he instructs him to snitch on Milan instead of, giving up Jamie and Lobos and all that other stuff. And Kanan later on picks up Tariq after school, and he passes him some lean, which I found hilarious. Tommy and Ghost meet Jamie. Tommy and Ghost meet up, and Jamie tells him Ruiz is no threat. And Tommy tells Jamie that he needs to let him know if he's plotting against Milan. And Jamie plays dumb and acts like he has no plans at all to get at Milan. Jamie meets with Angela later on and hands her Hugo's phone. During this whole meeting, Angela's wearing a wire, and eventually, Jamie does a bit of digging to find out what Angela's doing, and she tells him to get lost, basically. And Kanan brings Tariq to the apartment that he took over last week from the old lady. He actually attempts to shoot Tariq in the back of the head without Tariq actually noticing, because Tariq is on his phone at the time. But then Tariq lets on that he hates his dad, and then Kanan realizes that he can actually use that against Ghost, and he keeps him alive. Jamie finds a bar where the Drina cigarettes are being distributed to, and then he follows that lead up later on and finds where Milan's base actually is. And, when he actually goes there, he sees Tommy there, and he tries to give Tommy a call, but Tommy rejects the call. Angela shows up at Greg's place and shows surveillance footage of Jamie at the hotel on the night of Lebos's murder. And she reveals that Jamie was actually there with his wife, and thus Angela is no longer with Ghost. She cries, and then they kiss, and then they get it on. And then later on, when Angela goes to the restroom, Greg is texting Medina, and he actually says, I think Angela's working with St. Patrick. And that's where the show ends. So yeah, tried to get through that very quickly because I'm really interested to see what you guys thought of that episode, because I think that episode was really, really, really well written. But Anthony, what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to mind? You're muted, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean the first thing that comes to mind for me, for this episode in general, very messy. It's like, honestly, Angela. The only thing I thought about was just Angela. Like she's really trying to cover her ass, and she really she going to all lengths now to do so, and it's like disgusting, man.
Well, she wasn't covering her ass at the end, though.
No, I mean, not basically, but the funny is it didn't work. Like Greg is still suspicious of her. So it's like, so she did all that for nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that. I really didn't like, because I actually liked her character, But when I saw that, I was like, Angela, what are you doing? Like, you're doing too much right now.
Does Ghost still have the phone?
No, he gave that phone to Angela when they was in the
Yeah,
car
so
together.
my thing is, I think Angela's gonna plant the phone in Greg's apartment.
Oh yeah, because she actually went to the restroom and she took out the phone. So you might be right. You might be right. But the thing is, if they do find the phone is going to link back to Sandoval because that's who, that's who Hugo was in touch with. So I don't
Yeah,
know
but
what
it's
that would
gonna
do.
make it look like Greg's. It's gonna lead back, but it's still gonna like connect to Greg some way somehow. So if
Yeah,
that's what she planned.
yeah. That's a very dirty way to plan it though, by going through all that with Greg. But Richard, what are your thoughts immediately after watching the episode?
I think that Anthony said it best when he said it's a very messy episode. Yeah, Angela. I was not happy to see that, and very 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 angry about that actually, because Ghost is out here. He's struggling, trying to compose himself. You don't see him smashing nobody, but Angela getting desperate. Oh, I got to smash the same guy who I put his job in jeopardy. So that right there, to me, when I saw her do that, I thought to myself, well, why would you even do that? Because this guy was probably still trying to get you back because you made him look like he was a fool. Um, so
Yeah. Not
that
only that, yeah. Other messy thing. There was something else messy about this episode, Rich. Tommy and Ghost can't to fucking get along, Like, what's up with them? Like every season, they always at odds with each other, and this is just showing it again,
Yeah, like just when we thought they were fully united again, it's like now, Milan's getting in between them and stuff. Like I just don't know because I think Jamie kind of even before the last scene, Jamie kind of clocked on that he can't trust Tommy because after that meeting that happened at the club, I guess he kind of guessed that, Milan was manipulating Tommy. So it's like he actually kept a lot of information from Tommy in this episode. So I don't know where that's going to lead to, but it's definitely interesting. What do you actually think Angela is going to do with the recording? Because she was wearing a wire, and she recorded Jamie in the car. He didn't really give up too much information though. He was very vague, and he didn't say where he got the phone from. But what do you think she's trying to do at that point?
I think that would be a last resort in her trying to protect herself. To say that she didn't have anything to do with Lobos getting killed, but yeah, I think that'll be a very very last resort if she sees that Jamie tries to do something else that she may have to resort to doing that.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. It's definitely a last resort.
Desperate, man. She's doing all desperate stuff. Like even her sleeping with Greg at the end.
Yeah.
Like she should never went over there. Like why would she go over there and show him the iPad shit? Show that to the feds when they come interrogate you. Like why would you put yourself out the way? That's what made Greg think they was working together. Because it just seems like desperation for her to come over his crib and show him.
Exactly, and she could have easily done that in the office. She didn't need to go to his place for that. So she definitely went. Say what?
She just keep it real. She wanted to get her smash on. That's why she came over there.
Yeah,
She can't get over the fact that she was with ghosts.
Nah, man, that ain't it, yo. I think it's because she was really trying to save her ass. And to be honest, Greg was enjoying it because at the end he was like, "Yo, they still working together." But when he was in the act, he was getting it in. Yeah, he was getting the strokes. He was getting the strokes in. He was like, "Whatever, yo."
Well, that's probably the first time he smashed in like since the last time he smashed Angela. So it's been a long time for him.
I think I have to keep it real. I think they make sure they always make sure that sex happens in these episodes, one way or another. Last week, I guess, was an exception, but this week they said, "Oh no, we're not going 2 episodes without somebody getting smashed." So,
Yeah. Okay, so do we trust Ruiz at this point?
that's a good question.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
Because the first time we see him in this episode, he was at the task force and he basically told them to go F themselves, and and then we see him show up at the drug meeting and everything. So I mean, I don't know if we're supposed to think that he's back in the game now and he's not going to snitch, or I don't know what we're supposed to think at this point, because it was really weird that they showed him leaving the task force and then he's back. Like the way he came back at the meeting as well was just so like.
It's odd. Like, why are you back? I thought you was on the run. I thought you was on the low. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely suspicious. But yeah, that's definitely a link that can come back on them later. So
What do
we
you
got to
think
keep an eye.
happened to Tasha's friend? Yeah. You think Tommy killed him?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we'll see what happens with that. Maybe in the next episode or something. But I don't think she's dead yet. But what was you
Well,
gonna say, Rich?
You saw Milan sent the text to Tommy said, "You take care of the Tasha's friend,"
Yeah.
and then Tommy said, "Oh yeah, he got it." So
Yeah,
we
and
what he did. So next
he
week,
was so Oh, sorry, was you finished?
oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
He was so nonchalant when he sent that text saying, "Yeah, I'll take care of it," like it was nothing. And that surprised me because he's supposed to have a good bond with Tasha.
Oh well, maybe he's starting to Milan's tactics are starting to work. Although yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Do you think Tommy actually has a plan, or is he really being manipulated? Because it seems like it's so easy to manipulate him at this point.
I don't think Tommy had. I think Tommy's being manipulated.
Well,
Tommy's being manipulated, yeah. Because
I,
Tommy's not the type to get smart. Like all of a sudden he turns into the smart dude. Like it's crazy.
you know, I do think he is. I also think he's being manipulated, but I also think he looks at it. Well, he doesn't really have a reason to live. He don't have his woman no more. So he probably just don't give a damn about nothing. Just say, oh, whatever this guy wants done, okay, whatever, just do it. I guess you have to find out about that.
Just to bounce off what Rich said. Rich just brought up a good point because he didn't have nothing to live for. But when Milan was like, "Yo, you could take my place,"
Yep.
now he giving him something to live for.
Yeah, that's true. So you think Tommy just wants the top spot at this point?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's definitely interested in that. Saw his face lit up when they had that discussion. So yeah, but I'm not sure what he thinks he would do what he's going to do to actually get in that position. And one interesting thing about that conversation is Milan did acknowledge that that maybe there's a possibility that Ghost something does happen to him or something. So and then Tommy takes his place. So I don't know if he knows or thinks that Ghost is going to definitely do something.
I mean, he knows Ghost is plotting on him. He said it.
Yeah.
Like he knows Ghost is plotting right now.
And plus, Jamie denied that he was plotting when he spoke to Tommy, but Tasha left that voicemail on Tommy's phone stating that Jamie's planning something. So that either way, that's going to lead to Tommy believing that Jamie's still plotting.
Yeah.
He knows Tommy knows Jamie is plotting.
And now Jamie knows also that Tommy is also working with this.
Yeah. So, like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? It's on limping. He limping now. He been limping all episode.
Yeah, so we spoke about Tommy possibly wanting the top spot, but there's also another guy that wants the top spot, and that's Kanan. And this was a very interesting episode because he actually got close with Tariq. So what are your thoughts on that, and what's going to pan out with that relationship?
I knew this was gonna happen. If he would have killed Tariq, I would have been like, wow, that's a very interesting dynamic to put into the show. But I kind of knew he wasn't gonna kill him. I think he was gonna take his mind away from Ghost. So he's gonna take his son away from him in a whole nother way. Basically the way he took Sean.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way Ghost took Sean. Yep.
That right there goes back to what you guys said about the excellent writing, because I have a feeling they were planning this from the very beginning, from last season when you saw what happened with Sean. And yeah, I think he is going to definitely turn his son against him. Well, his son is already almost there anyway. So it's interesting to see how far he's going to go with that, though.
Yeah, I wonder how. Yeah, I wonder what he's going to do. Because he was like, yeah, you want to get him back? Like, all right, yeah, this game kind of silly. You want to get him back? He ain't hurt Tariq that damn bad.
Yeah, I think it was a nice touch though when Kanan gave him the lean to drink, because you get somebody hooked on that, he's always going to come back to him just so he can get some more of that.
That's not
they're going to make his son into a drug addict.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that
it's easier. Wasn't even on the lead. That chick who he was messing with put him onto that.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. By the way, I do want to send a message to Starz. I need to see more of that chick before this season's over. And as well, yes. We need to see more of them before the season's over.
Do Starz actually listen to this podcast?
Oh yeah.
What up to Starz and the family? Shout out to the family. Put me on next season.
Yeah, man. Hook us up. We gotta get on the show, man. At least let me on the set. That's all I'm asking.
Oh, but one thing I was going to say is I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Tariq turning against his father even more so. Also, this is going to impact Ghost's relationship with Dre, because he put Dre in charge of he trusts his son with Dre. So now it's going to create issues between them as well.
Yeah. I'm still wondering, where.
Right now, I think Dre is disposable. I'm gonna be honest with you. No, real talk. I think Dre is gonna get killed. I think Ghost is gonna kill Dre.
Yeah.
It would definitely make sense, because at the moment it's like Dre's just floating in between. Like we can't even tell where his loyalties are with, because he'll do anything Ghost says, but then when Kanan comes along, he's helping him. So he's definitely very disposable at this point, and we already have so much going on with the other characters as well. So
it's so much going on with every other character. Like I definitely think either Ghost or Kanan. One of the two is either Ghost is gonna kill him, either Kanan is gonna kill him, or either one of the Serbians is gonna kill him. So, somebody's getting rid of this dude. Dre is done.
So I mean, with everything going on with the Serbs and Milan and everything, where does Kanan fit in the future of what's occurring at the moment? Where does he fit in? What do you think is going to happen with him?
I don't think he has a plan. I think his plan was to come and fuck with Tariq the whole time. Because remember when he was down in I think it was Baltimore or DC. Wherever he was in. So when he was down there, he was like, yo. His cousin was like, take his son. Go after his family. And so I think Kanan's plan was to come do exactly what he's doing right now. As far as the Serbians and all of that other stuff, I don't think he really has a move on that yet. He's asking Dre to help give him information, but to be honest, I don't think Kanan has a card to play yet with that.
So you think, as it stands now, his only plan is to just fuck with Ghost, basically?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to get him.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like they're gonna drag out the Kanan story, till the end of the series, till the last series.
Yeah, because
So,
it's his show.
yeah, pretty much.
He had to be very brave. That would show a lot for 50's ego if he would allow himself to get killed off.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Like, I think at the moment, I guess the Milan is the main threat at the moment, and then once they somehow get past that, then it'll go back to Kanan, I guess. But I guess we got to see how it all plays out.
Well, 50 Cent has another show called BMF coming, so maybe he wants to put himself in that. So he'll kill himself off in power.
Maybe that's a possibility. Either that or Kanan will just go missing again for a period of time. Yeah. He does that sometimes. So how long do you think it is until Sandoval gets caught? Because I think it's coming.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the season finale, because it's only 2 episodes left, and actually there's a break next week, so that episode ain't gonna be dropping until like around close to the end of September. When it goes about September 18th or something like that. So I think it's gonna be the finale when he finally get caught, because some stuff has to happen to put you on the edge of your seat until the next season. So that's possibly one thing that could happen if it doesn't happen in the next episode.
Okay. Any thoughts on that, Ant?
No, I don't really have any thoughts on that one. Wait and see on that one.
Okay. Is it about time Jamie gets back with Tasha? Do you think that's in the works? Do you think that's going to happen?
I think it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna end up sleeping with each other again. I wouldn't say necessarily getting back together.
Yeah.
But I definitely think he's gonna end up sleeping with her at some point. Like, alcohol is flowing, emotions getting thrown around. I think it's gonna happen. Like, yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, because they love sex on this show, you best believe it's gonna happen. We ain't seen Tasha nude all season, so you best believe it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, because Jamie clearly does love Angela, because he was in the bar, he was talking about Angela and stuff like that. So I guess he really does love Angela. Do you think there's any hope of them ever getting back together, or at least smashing?
I think that's over, yo. Like, honestly, okay, I don't know, man. I just don't think we see them smashing again. Yeah, I think that's why they kept showing these dudes have sex every episode, because they know it was like, all right, this shit isn't happening anymore, right?
Yeah, you could be right.
I think it's over.
And her sleeping with Greg, I guess, is it's clear that maybe it's over now.
Oh no, but that was a mistake though.
The Greg shit, even though it was a mistake, it's a clear indication that she's moved on. Because now she's doing whatever she has to do to protect her own ass, including sleeping with somebody she ain't even interested in, yo. She was just looking away while he was digging in, that shit was crazy,
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think. I do agree that this is it for that relationship, but I also think something significant will happen that will let you know that this is it for sure before the season's over. Perhaps Greg gets killed, or something happens to another person, and Jamie is the one that they suspect was involved, and that'll pretty much end it for good.
Yeah, I still stand by it. I really, really want to see Jamie beat up Greg. I just want to see that happen. I want them to fight.
That might now he has reason to, if you know that she's sleeping with this dude. Yeah, this is a perfect setup for that to happen now, because he saw she was with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
what do you think about Angela? What do you think about Angela going to Tommy's mom's house and just putting all these alibis together and shit like that?
I think that was her covering herself too, right? Because she doesn't want anything to trace back to she doesn't want Lobos's killing to trace back
we
to
don't know. We don't know what happened when Tommy said, "Angela, sit down."
Oh yeah, because it kind of cuts and then
Remember when he's like, "Angela, sit down"?
Yeah.
What did he tell her?
I don't know, because then it cuts and when it comes back to them, they kind of start arguing or whatever, and yeah, so I don't know. But she was definitely trying to put together an alibi for Tommy just so that he's accounted for.
Yeah,
And
she's like, get your alibis together.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, she's doing all that for herself, pretty much. Like she's not actually trying to investigate. Because I think she's already made up in her mind that it was them that killed him. So,
Yeah, in her mind, she feel like they already are the ones that killed him. All she's trying to do is cover her own ass so she won't get the death penalty. And basically, yeah, that's it. Including sleeping with people she ain't supposed to be sleeping with. Like, so she willing to do whatever to hide her own ass at this point.
Yeah, so I think what might happen is so the investigation ends and they find out it was Sandoval, and then Angela's in the clear, but then next season they're still going to be building a case somewhat. So I think that's when we'll start to see maybe Angela is directly going after Jamie. Maybe
he's gonna get caught. I think he might get clipped actually.
Who?
Yeah,
Mike,
he should get flipped.
Mike is gonna get killed.
Yeah, Mike needs to get flipped.
Mike is gonna get. That's it. Like Mike getting caught.
You think he's getting clipped? By who?
Yeah.
Though?
He's getting either caught or clipped. Like Mike, that's gonna happen sooner than later.
But who would clip him though? Because Hugo's dead now.
It'd probably be Ghost or Tommy. Or honestly, what's Ghost's motivation for firing him? To get him to snitch on him?
Yeah, I guess because he definitely knows about Ghost because he actually gave up Jamie's name while the investigation was going up. Remember last episode he told him to look into Angela's relationship with Jamie St. Patrick. So he definitely knows about him.
Yeah, because Lobos told him everything.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe he threatens someone. Maybe Sandoval threatens either Angela or Jamie or something and, tries to play them somehow. And then that leads to Jamie possibly trying to kill him. You never know.
Yeah.
Do you think there ever might be an investigation against Milan? Because, Jamie did tell Ruiz to tell the task force about Milan. So that could be something that happens. Maybe Ruiz goes back to them and lets them know that Milan's around.
Milan's a dead man walking, man. Like, I mean, to me, like when Ghost sets his sight on trying to screw somebody over, he's usually pretty successful. So I think Milan is definitely not living past this season. Either he's gonna get caught or he's gonna get killed, like one or the other. I don't know what. I don't fully know what Jamie's plan is. Like with the cigarettes, I don't know if the cigarettes was a. See, the reason for me is like, all right, now he knows where their base is, but does he have another plan for the cigarettes besides just finding the base? Like, I would like to know, because like knowing what the base is isn't really gonna say, how does that benefit you at all? So.
Yeah, I do like that we're seeing that Ghost again, the calculated Ghost, where he's clearly, planning something.
Wait, hold on, calculated.
Yeah, because like throughout the whole season,
wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me interject there for a quick second. Ghost. I think I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna give another shout out to your boy Nelly Mack in the comments. I think, as he said, all season we've seen Ghost get a lot more sloppy than he has been in the past, and I think that I would have to believe the writers, they watch a lot of shows for inspiration. I think that The Walking Dead this past season was the perfect example of what they did with Rick, because Rick was always a badass, and then he got humbled at the end of the season when they got caught by Negan. So I think that you've seen Ghost a lot more desperate this season. Begging Tasha for money, like you said last week. Um, so he's trying to get calculated, but he is going about that sloppy as well, going to the bars, drinking, coming home drunk, trying to get information. But it's I don't think he's all the way calculated yet. He's trying to get there, but he got to get his head in the game. I think now because he knows that Tommy is involved with Milan, he's gonna have to get more calculated now because he don't know who he can trust. So I think you may see him turn around even further the next episode.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like, he's definitely not 100% calculated Ghost at the moment, but I just like that we got to see him somewhat be calculated because throughout the whole season he's been sloppy. He's been simping over Angela, So, yeah, like it's good to see that Ghost emerging again, even if he's not fully there yet. But my last question is what's happening with the club? Because in this episode, Dre alluded to the fact that Karen actually went to the rival club across the street. Yep. So, like, is that business completely lost now, or what's gonna happen?
No, that shit is done. I mean, he's gonna try and give it back, but it's like, what's the point, man?
I think what you said last week about Ghost going to the extreme of having Dre's boys hit up the club, that's gonna happen next week because now they have to resort to other tactics, And I think if they do it a particular way, then Ghost could swoop in and come up and say, "Oh well, do you still want to work with us? It didn't quite work out for you at the other club," and she may be desperate enough to say yes. But I do think they're going to retaliate one way or another with that other club because they wouldn't introduce those characters for them to just disappear and for you to never see them again, for there never to be some type of interaction again. So I think he's going to retaliate the next episode.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's going to be some major event relating to one of the clubs because you got Milan actually wants to push product inside the clubs. And then, on the other hand, you got Karen, she's gone to, the other club. And Dre has that guy who wanted to rob the club. They wouldn't have spent so much time because they spent 2 episodes with that, Dre's friend trying to suggest that they hit up the club or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that's going to come into play somewhere. So, yeah, I agree. We might see that. But yeah, that's all the questions I had. Have you guys got anything in particular you want to bring up about that episode?
Not really. I mean, it's a good I think it was a good, decent episode. I would give an episode I would say I would give it like a good 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, okay.
Get a good 7 out of 10. It was a good, decent episode. Wasn't nothing bad about it. But wasn't nothing completely mind blowing either.
Whoa.
Because I feel like the past 2 episodes were written well. Do you feel like last week's episode was better than this one?
Honestly, the whole season has been written pretty well. So I think the writing has been on point all season. It was just the episode in general just wasn't. It wasn't nothing that really jumped out at me crazy, except at the end when Angela slept with Greg. So.
Yeah.
All right, Rich, what's your final thoughts and rating on the episode?
Well, I do agree that the episode was good. I think there will be much more exciting moments as you get towards the end. I just have to say, I'm very disappointed in Angela's character. Going to these lengths to try to protect yourself is very sad to watch this. Very, very tragic, I guess you could say. But I guess we'll see how this all ends. But I don't have a problem with seeing her nude. I'm totally fine with that. But man, this is pretty rough going through all this stuff. And of course, it's also sad to see Tariq turn towards the dark side. One thing I did want to say, and you guys didn't mention this, is that Kanan also told Tariq about what his dad really did, and all of that. I think that's going to be even more damaging than just him turning him against his son, because his son knows, oh, my father used to sell drugs, so that's going to be a problem later. But outside of everything I said, yeah, it's a great episode. Um, I know you have the 5-star rating. I guess I would say I'm gonna go ahead and say I'll go ahead and say 4. Yeah, 4 stars, 4 out of 5 for me.
Cool. Yeah, my rating's the same. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 for this one, and definitely agree with what you said about the whole Tariq thing, because now Kanan's actually giving Tariq the game. He's letting him know his real dad and what his dad really does and stuff. And up to this point, Tasha and Jamie have kind of hid that stuff from the children. So this is like a revelation and an awakening for Tariq. So that's going to be interesting to see that play out for sure. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode. Really looking forward to the next one. It's going to kill us to have to wait, what, 2 weeks is it now? Because there's the holiday next week and stuff.
Well, hopefully for us it's not that long, but yeah, the next air date is not for another two weeks, so we'll have to see what that means for us as press. Because I don't know if it's going to be that long. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully not. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, we're gonna sign out now. Shouts to all the listeners out there. Leave your comments. Let us know.
Shout out to all of the chatty patties out there.
Shouts to the chatty patties. Shouts to Courtney, who's the lead writer and creator of Power. Shouts to all the writers, because you do an excellent job. And shouts to Starz. Thank you for allowing us to see these episodes early and stuff like that. So yeah, remember, leave your comments and check out thecoalition.com. We're signing out now. Peace.